All right, those New York Giants decided to say bye-bye to their number one, well, round one, number six pick, Daniel Jones. I was like, they obviously benched him. Of course, we all sort of knew they were coming, but in a surprising move, he got released. And I say surprising just because I was like, we've seen people get benched and stuff like that, especially with the insurance and all that other stuff about being paid and stuff. But I was like, it's rare that they get released just like off the bat with that. Now he's not going to get picked up because nobody wants to bring in that type of contract. So we already understand that. But I will say that I don't think one his career's not over. He's a former round one pick, and that carries a lot of cachet than if you're any other round pick. We could look around the league of like people who are getting jobs based off their first round pick status versus people who might have been better at lower picks. But I was like, with that being said, I think he is I think he can be a starter for your team. Now that I was like, you will be looking for another quarterback or whatever. But at the same time, I think really to be honest, what really gives him the chance to actually be like he could still make it as an actual like not just a bridge starter or anything like that, but an actual starter to a team is this new resurgence of rebuilding or whatever, like tossed away quarterbacks. I was like, I don't know. I was like, we could say that's probably more because of the necessarily sort of the rules. We could sort of say because not so many is like in the draft in the same way. We could say that because the offensive coordinators and stuff like that. That's willing to, but if you think about it, it's like Sam Darnold, what he's doing. I feel like that is in itself being able to give more credence to Daniel Jones. Baker Mayfield. I was like, you can even look at the success of Purdy and all these other things. Which, while I say that, I was like, he's going to find a team as well. And I was like, or at worst, I'm like, he'll be a backup. Cause I was like, the Giants, while I was like, I'm not gonna say that the Giants didn't do a good job by him, but he also didn't do a good job either of being healthy, which you kind of can't help. But also he was doing dumb things, and in a way that's kind of like that's a little different than just being like, oh, okay, it's not working. It's like you're doing stupid stuff on top of it. But also until this year, he really ain't have weapons like that. But like I said, we don't know kind of like Evan Ingram, who used to be on the Giants, was looking like over here like a bust. He goes to Jacksonville, resurrected his whole career. You know what I'm saying? I was like Shepard playing down in Tampa Bay looks a lot better. Of course, he ain't injured. That's a thing as well too. So I'm just saying. I was like, and I was like, they're gonna keep this squad. But anyway, since Daniel Jones out there gonna be out here trying to swipe right on somebody because he gets to pick once he's cleared waivers, I'm pretty sure, or whatever like that. Cause I was like, if somebody picked him up, I'd be shocked. But with that being said, I'm gonna go through most of the teams and of who will get him. Well, right now we're gonna go with the immediate team that will grab him right now this year. Because I was like, everybody else might be a future squad or whatever. To be honest, because I was like, I don't think they would mess around with what they got. But right now, the Raiders need to give him a look. Yes, the season's pretty much done. Yes, he comes in and it's going to probably be like 2 or 3 weeks. But you got Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell before that who's hurt now. So you need to come in there and give some blood or whatever. Maybe he come in and play the last 4 or 5 games out the year and you're able to figure it out there. Because I was like, what we're on, like, I was like, well, we're already pretty much close to the end, to be honest. I was like, hell, you might. I was like, you're gonna have to bring him in at least. Cause I was like, we don't know what's gonna happen with Antonio Pierce just yet. So bring him in at least, see if he gets like a last couple games or something like that to see how everything is. You're dead in the water anyway, or whatnot. You're already gonna probably be drafting a quarterback as is, or whatnot. But you don't never know what happened, how the draft order and all the other stuff, where it looks like it's really two quarterbacks at the top, and then after that, so give him a look. See, now I was like, now that was a chance at starting. I was like, at least immediately. This year, I was like, I think a lot of the backup roles are pretty much, mm, like they're fine. To where it's like you're not gonna bring them in this late in the game, except for my Miami Dolphins. I think there's no immediate rush to start them. Tua's back. Tua playing great and whatnot. But that backup situation is a problem. Skylar Thompson, who gets his ass hurt just as fast. I was like, he's decent, but you can always upgrade. I was like, I was like Huntley. He was like, eh. He didn't play as good as I thought he was going to. So hey, I was like, go ahead and get Daniel Jones. If anybody can sort of make him look really good, guess what? It's going to probably be Mike Daniels. And I'm just saying that I'm like, he also don't he had a better arm than Tua a little bit at times to me, but he also can run and make some stuff. But I'm just saying, just in case something happens to Tua, go ahead, lock him up. Next year, do the same thing as well if you can. I was like, I know he's gonna cost quite a bit of money because he's a backup quarterback and we ain't got money like that. But maybe I would like he come from the Shanahan system, put it all together, book it, kind of thing. Now, going on to next year, I feel like it's sort of the same thing or whatever. Whereas like this to me is really him just being in spots for backups. I was like, it's going to really be hard for him to really be in a spot to really start. To be honest, I was like outside of somebody having a rookie quarterback. But the Rams, Sean McVay is always able to do wonders. To me, he sort of like reclamation projects. He's had Carson Wentz there as well. I was like, there was somebody else that he brought in, but I was like, behind Matthew Stafford, I was like, I feel like Matthew Stafford's still going to be there a while. I was like, in that system, I was like, he could probably get something out of Daniel Jones pretty well. I like the Lions. I was like, look, they got a really good offensive line. They got weapons. They got a smart offensive coordinator. You seen what happened to Goff, and I was like Jared Goff. I was like Daniel Jones. I was like, there is a drop off, but you also get his legs with Daniel Jones, and you do get a veteran quarterback who I was like in that system with a good offensive line will probably look a whole lot better. But they're a playoff team and they're a Super Bowl team, and it's like you can't afford to basically go down to somebody who ain't played yet. So you should have Daniel Jones at a backup. To be honest, I would actually think that they should probably bring in Daniel Jones this year if they can, just because you want somebody that because he's not. I was like Goff, not gonna wood, doesn't get hurt. He's needed. You got Super Bowl aspiration. I think with the Hutchinson thing, you need to cover all your bases. To me, Indy, that's next year. I was like, Flacco's done. Hell, you going to say done now? I was like, you could bring him in with the offense that the Colts got, but at the same time, you might want to just keep Flacco at least for this year or whatever. But to me, that's a future spot for him to go behind Richardson, who also uses his legs as well. I was like, he could sit there, be behind. I was like, look, I was like, Daniel Jones trying to get this Mr. Trubisky type of rub where it's like he get to stay behind the Bills and all of a sudden we think that, oh my God, he's reformed. He's better now, kind of thing. The Commanders, if they don't keep Mariota, go ahead and get another running quarterback. Plus, it would just be kind of funny if from the Giants he goes to the Commanders, say he got to come in and play a couple games or something like that, and he looks really good. That'd be funny because that'd be 2 L's for the Giants in that situation. Minnesota, if they ain't able to retain Sam Darnold because he's able to go somewhere else, they got J.J. McCarthy coming in, but he'll be a rookie. I was like Daniel Jones. You can do the same thing from Sam Darnold to Daniel Jones. I was like, I feel like they're really similar quarterbacks. I was like, I think Darnold got a stronger arm than Daniel Jones, but I think that Daniel Jones is a lot more athletic than Sam Darnold at the same time. But either way, in that type of system, Kevin O'Connell, to me, that makes the whole thing work where it's like it'll be a easy transition. And I was like, hey, why might as well go to the person that also reclaims, made something out of somebody else's career. The Bills, I was like, Josh Allen, I was like behind him. I was like running quarterback. You could keep a lot of things the same as well too. Like you're a Super Bowl type of team to where it's like you don't want that next dip. And I was like, because I think Daniel Jones being a backup is going to be it's going to be what a lot of these what the teams need when they're on that verge of just like you don't want that drop off in a lot of these situations. 49ers, I think it's self-explanatory. I was like Brock Purdy about to get paid. After that, do you know who their backup quarterback is? It doesn't matter who their backup quarterback is because they always need backup quarterbacks because we've seen it that, hey, they, out of all of them, need a tree of quarterbacks. So guess what? I was like I said, where it was the Sean McVay or where I said it was Minnesota or whatever, I was like, this would be a good spot for him. I was like, he could make Purdy into that and some of the other quarterbacks. He could do this. He had Jimmy Garoppolo. He could do a lot with Daniel Jones in a way. And to be honest, this would be like what they wanted from Trey Lance and that type of like scrambler arm. I was like, that to me is like where Trey Lance mold kind of was, to where I'm like, it'd be a good transition just in case something happened to Brock Purdy or whatever like that. He'll be able to scheme something up in a way that I will be able to understand. The Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, the quarterback whisperer. But you need somebody behind Justin Herbert, because we've seen how it looks when Justin Herbert does get hurt. I was like, to me, he's a stick. I was like, yeah, he's a backup, but I was like, you can upgrade that backup. Now, they got more of the stuff that they got to do with their team to where it's not that much of a possibility. But at the same time, any spot where he can go and also transform how he plays, that to me is a spot. Now, these last two, I was like, might be a chance for him to actually play. Now, the Browns, depending on how they feel about Jameis Winston. They feel good about Jameis Winston. He can come back next year or whatever. Deshaun Watson still got the Achilles, so guess what? He probably ain't going to be ready next year either. And I was like, they got Robinson, Thomas, or whatever as the RT. I was like, back there, they might give him the spot. So that's why I said, I was like, they might not keep Winston. They might have him start. But I was like, Daniel Jones is a good, I was like, alternate as well, too. And the one where he actually has a chance to start probably is the Jets. Do they bring back Aaron Rodgers? Does he even want to come back? That's going to be a whole thing that's going to be cycled out. Do you need to draft a quarterback? Well, guess what? Now you're in a weird spot where it's like, who are you going to be able to draft at the spot that you're at? Daniel Jones could be the bridge and the starter. It's not going to be great back there up in New York. But hey, I was like, that's probably the best option that they could really do at that time. And to give Daniel Jones probably the best time to actually play and start if you just want to get right back into it. That is sort of how it is. But anyway, what do y'all think about all the choices? There was a couple teams I left out because I was like, they already got backups, or I just don't see them doing. Like the Bengals, they're not going to do it. They already are being short with money, so they ain't going to do it. The Packers, no, they got Malik Willis. They just traded for him, so those type of things. But anyway, what do you think about the team that Daniel Jones? Do you want Daniel Jones? To be honest, I was like, do you think that his career is just nothing but a backup now? I was like, he could start. I think he could start. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. All day, every day, no problem. We got this. Peace. I'm out.